Hello, and thank you for joining us. Today we have David Neal here at the Wisconsin Dells That Conference. How has your conference been so far, David?
It has been amazing. That conference is one of my favorite events every year.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I guess, how many times have you been to that conference?
Like 5 or 6 times. I don't know. Lost count.
A veteran for sure. So let's hop into the questions, getting technical, starting off. What's your preferred stack like?
Oh, well, I do a lot of JavaScript. Traditionally, I was Microsoft stack for many, many years. I don't hate Microsoft, but I don't do a lot of Microsoft anymore. But Node.js, databases of all types. Vue is kind of like my go-to on front end in recent years. I just really prefer and enjoy using that. And just good old JavaScript.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. I was chatting with you earlier and I saw your website, and you are an illustrator, you're a streamer, you do live coding demos, all kind of in DevRel space or using different technologies. And I was curious, how has being so multi-talented helped you so far in your career?
It's been having flexibility and having there's always that debate of should you go deep into one subject or should you be broad and lots of things. I think there's room for both. I think you can geek out about things for a while and get as far down in the weeds as you want to. But I think having lots of skills in different areas and different experiences, it gives me the ability to be to meet lots of challenges that come along.
That's totally fair. That's a really good perspective to have on that. Starting off this morning, you were actually one of the first talks that happened here at that conference. Speaking of one of your talents, you are an amazing public speaker, and you gave a talk about public speaking. So, yeah.
That's one of my passions. Going back a long time ago in my career, I would go to events like Tech Ed and the Microsoft Professional Developer Conference and a few other events, and I was always so kind of impressed or enamored with folks who had the courage to get up and give presentations. And I thought, man, I wish I could do that. No, I can't. No way I could possibly do that. So for me, learning and getting over some of that fear and having the courage to get up and give some talks and build that skill, I now realize it's a skill like any other skill. You're going to be terrible at it at first. It's going to be rough, but once you get over the hurdles, it's the benefits of coming to events like this, with and getting to meet folks, and it's so worth it.
That's a great insight there. It is extremely worth it, especially seeing all of the remarkable speakers here at that conference. Kind of going on about that conference in particular, this is a kind of a weird conference, isn't it?
Yeah, so it is quite different from other conferences in the sense that it's very family oriented. I think it's what makes that conference so special is that it's more focused on community and in the entire family. There's things going on for the kids. There's the water park. There's just fun things to do. And it lends itself to a more casual atmosphere, and people just hang out and have a great time.
Exactly. And there's really a sense of community here at that conference. And with the open spaces, the room for discussion, a lot of the topics are tech-based, and some of the topics are more about, how to be a better manager, how to really engage and grow community, especially in the DevRel space. Do you think that more conferences in the future will be more about those soft skills, more about the soft skills that are required to really grow the tech spaces and building that more wholesome or more wholesome community?
Yeah, well, me personally, I believe that the hardest skills to learn are not the tech skills. You can read about how to learn how to program. You can follow courses online. You can find ways to learn a new language, but it's the personal interaction, the encouragement that you get from people, and the learning the skills of like, how do I navigate working with other people? How do I figure out how to engage other people with empathy and work well together, and to realize that there's more to programming or any tech skill than just writing code. There's the hardest parts of any job are dealing with people.
That's very, very true. All right. So kind of talking about the future with respect to technology, there's this trend, do you think, you've been in the industry for quite a minute now, and AI seems to be everywhere. Do you think that this is a tidal wave of change in the industry? Do you think it's more of, a passing fad?
Well, now that you mention it, I have been around for a while, and I
was like, at least for the beard.
And I've been programming long enough that I remember when the internet was first, starting to become a thing, and it was like got a whole lot of attention, and it was a roller coaster because everything got like, everybody's got to go to the web, everybody's got to create a website, everybody's got to do everything on the internet, and there was the .com bust around 2000. I remember that very, very well. So I think AI is similar to any of these trends that have come along. It's like, yeah, it'll be a roller coaster, and it'll be like, get a lot of attention for a while, but then again, there will come a point where it levels out, and you use it for what it's best used for. And I think it'll continue to be around. It'll continue to evolve, as with any new technologies, and turn into something that we can get a lot of value out of.
That's fair. So you think it'll be more tailor fit to what it's best at, especially as things progress.
Sure. We're still trying to figure those things out.
Totally fair. That's true. I know AI seems like it's in everything nowadays, and so that's a little odd. Kind of speaking about that a bit, there's always a bit of tension in companies about whether to do something in-house or to partner with a company that's already an expert in that space.
Yeah.
How do you balance that desire to, we're going to build everything from the ground up with, these are the experts, they have 20, 30, 40 years of knowledge in this domain. Maybe we should talk to them.
Yeah, well, that again is a thing that has been around since the beginning of technology, in the sense that do we develop this ourselves, or do we rely on other folks? And there's costs, there's real costs involved of like, well, we have to pay somebody for this stuff, or there's costs involved of like, we're developing this ourselves. How expensive is that? And how expensive are the mistakes that you make when you're trying to develop that software? And I've become a believer on the other side of the spectrum, whereas, when I was young, I was like, we can do it all. It's like, I can take on the world. Nowadays, I'm more like, hey, if we're going to build some e-commerce stuff, we're going to use somebody like Stripe, who knows who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two. And it goes with so many other APIs and services that are out there today. Like, I would not want to create my own authentication or security or any of those kinds of things, because that's something you have to spend time on all the time, because the threats are always evolving.
They're always evolving. There's always a new threat of the week kind of thing, or 0-day exploits. And so that's a lot to keep track of, especially when your surface covers your entire application. All right. So kind of closing us out here. You've been in the industry for a while. How do you keep that spark going? Because there's this twinkle in your eye every time you talk about tech. And so how do you keep that spark going about it?
Yeah, so I love to learn. And that's the reason why I got into tech in the first place. It's the reason why I stay in it, is that there's a never-ending opportunity to learn new things, to meet new people. And it's crazy for me to even say this now, because 10, 15 years ago, I'd be just slide me a pizza under the door, leave me alone, let me get my job done. But now I've come to really appreciate how special it is to be in the developer community, to meet folks and to learn from them, and to hear their perspectives. And it's now my mission in life to help others be more awesome. That's my mantra, is I want folks to be more awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. That's an awesome mantra to have. All right. So closing us out with a couple of fun questions. What was the most creative way you've ever solved a bug or a problem? You know, the whole saying of like, it's a feature, not a bug. So
I know it. Well, man, there's been so many hacks, right? Like, how do you come up with some solution to get around something? I will say that one of my favorite tools of figuring out that creative solution is to step away.
Oh.
So I like to play guitar. I like to listen to music. There's a lot of things around in that creative space. In recent years, I've started drawing. So for me, getting the creative juices flowing by going and doing another thing to get another part of my brain engaged, a lot of times a solution will present itself, when I least expect it. So it's okay to step away.
That's great. Low code or 20 gigs of node modules?
Low code, as in like you code less, or okay. I like my node module. I mean, they're comfortable to me. It's like a weighted blanket. I want my.
Yes, yeah, and then you get really attached to them.
Yeah, I want my security modules.
Is coffee supposed to be hot or cold?
Hot. Goodness, why?
Even in the middle of summer.
Even in the middle of summer, I can be mowing the grass.
Sweet or savory? So when you go for a treat, savory,
all the way.
And then vinyl or digital?
So vinyl is cool in the sense that it's all retro and everything, but yeah. I remember vinyl. Like, I had a lot of vinyl records. It's not that great a technology, really. I mean, yeah, there's some nostalgia associated with hearing all the pops and crackles and things, but the clarity, the first time I listened to a CD was like, wow, that's what it's supposed to sound like. I'll take my digital any day.
Great. And then security teams, or I guess, the security teams in applications, or just integrating security. Is it a friend or is it a foe?
Those security folks, I don't know. They're kind of sus. They're all right.
They get invited around every once in a while. Great. Thank you so much, David. If you would like to find more information about David Neal, you can go to his website,
reverentgeek.com.
And that's all we have for today at that conference. Thank you.